It was exactly 2:17 a.m. when my phone suddenly blasted with a motion alert from my garage, ripping me out of a deep sleep. Half blind and groggy, I tapped the screen, blinking at the live security feed, and what I saw made me bolt upright so fast I knocked over my water glass. There, crawling under the half-raised garage door like some wannabe ninja in a pink hoodie, ski mask, and what looked suspiciously like kitchen gloves, was Karen, the self-appointed queen of the HOA and the neighborhood menace. She was shuffling in like she owned the place, flashlight clenched between her teeth, bolt cutters in one hand, and a look on her face like she was on some sacred mission. Honestly, it looked like a bad movie that I squinted, wondering if someone was pranking me. But no, she stood up right inside my garage, stomped dramatically toward my ATV, and muttered, "Finally, I'm taking back what's rightfully mine." At that moment, I didn't know whether to laugh, call the cops, or just grab popcorn. This wasn't your average break-in. It was a full-blown suburban soap opera playing out live, starring Karen as the rogue heroine and my garage as her battlefield. What Karen didn't know was that my garage wasn't just a garage. It was a fortress. I'm talking 360-degree cameras, motion sensors, biometric locks, the kind of setup that would make a military base jealous. The moment she stepped inside, facial recognition locked down everything, scanning and denying her access instantly. I hit record, leaned back, and whispered, "Game on." Let me back up a sec, because if you don't know Karen, you might think this was a one-off, but nah. She's been the neighborhood thorn since day one. The moment she moved in, she crowned herself the enforcer of all rules, real or imaginary. She'd write fake citations about my lawn being a half-inch too long, shame kids for chalk drawings on sidewalks, you name it. Karen runs the neighborhood like it's her personal HOA dictatorship. Her latest obsession? My all-black, upgraded ATV. To her, it wasn't just a vehicle, it was a ghost from her past. See, her late cousin, who passed a year ago, apparently owned an ATV just like mine. She claimed he promised it to her before he died. Meanwhile, I bought mine legally off Facebook Marketplace, with bill of sale, registration, the whole 9 yards. But Karen? Oh, she was convinced I'd stolen her inheritance and vowed to take it back. One dramatic scene at a time, she started with subtle harassment, notes on my door demanding I return what she called blood rights and moral property, phrases she definitely made up. When I ignored her, she took her case to the HOA board. Even they couldn't find any rules saying Karen could claim whatever she wanted. So, of course, being the classic villain who hits a wall, she escalated to criminal creativity. Here we were, at 2:17 a.m., with Karen fumbling through my garage like a raccoon hopped up on Red Bull. Completely oblivious, she'd triggered what I called Fortress Protocol, my personal security masterpiece. I'm not just some gearhead. I work in private tech security for defense clients, and my garage is a prototype zone for biometric locks, AI-integrated motion capture, and facial ID. She wasn't just breaking in. She was trying to infiltrate a classified test site. She stumbled over to the ATV, yanked the handlebars, climbed on, and tried pressing the ignition. Suddenly, the panel lit up red, pulsing, and a robotic voice declared, "Unauthorized face detected. Access denied." She froze, blinked, and mashed the button again. Same result. Then, the lights cut out, replaced by ominous red perimeter lighting. The garage door slammed shut behind her, and a voice boomed. Intruder containment initiated. Panic hit. Karen, in full dramatic flair, shouted, "Help! I'm trapped. Someone kidnapped me." Which might have been convincing if the live feed hadn't shown her sneaking in with bolt cutters moments earlier. That I quickly opened a private Discord server where some developer friends hang out and streamed the footage. Comments flooded in. "Is this real? Dude, is this a prank? And is she trying to start the ATV with prayer?" One camera zoomed in on her face as she ripped off the hoodie, then accidentally kicked over a can of WD-40, slipped, and fell into the tool shelf. Wrenches and tools clattered like a metal rainstorm, and the chat exploded with laughing emojis and memes. I had to mute my phone before the stream fried it. 0.5 minutes later, the automated system alerted the local police. Karen scrambled to pry open the garage door. No luck. The speaker, which I'd custom voiced with a digital assistant, calmly said, attempting unauthorized egress. Law enforcement dispatched. Please remain still. She backed into a corner, genuinely shocked that a garage door opener was the thing ruining her grand heist. When the cops arrived, sirens low and flashlights high, I met them casually at the driveway, in pajama pants, hoodie, holding a thermal mug of coffee. I opened the control panel, disengaged the lock, and watched as they found Karen sitting on an overturned paint bucket, arms crossed. Muttering something about misguided justice, Karen burst into tears, accusing me of stealing her property. "That's my cousin's ATV," she said with Oscar-worthy drama. "He told me I could have it before he died. This thief stole it." One officer asked for proof. Karen waved a laminated obituary like a golden ticket. I handed over the bill of sale, registration, and transfer papers. The lead cop glanced over and said, "Ma'am, this all seems legal and in order." Karen's face twisted. She pointed to the cameras. "Then why did your garage trap me inside like a prison?" I smiled slightly. "Because you broke in like a criminal." The officer turned back to her. "You weren't invited." She shook her head. "No, but I had a right to enter." He cut her off. "You admitted you weren't invited." Then he walked to his cruiser and radioed for a report number. Karen sat on the curb, defeated but defiant, telling the officers she planned to sue me for emotional trauma caused by facial scanners. I knew this was just the beginning. Karen doesn't back down. She reloads. What she didn't know was that the entire break-in was live-streamed to dozens of developers, former security contractors, and even a Redditor prepping a Karen versus Garage AI thread. She thought it was about an ATV, but now it was war. And my side had the footage, the receipts, and the tech. Karen only had delusions and a bruised by sunrise. After the cops wrapped up, Karen stormed down my driveway, muttering legal threats, trying to salvage what little dignity she had left. Her hair was a mess, her hoodie stained with oil, and her face blotchy from sobbing when no one got arrested on the spot. Later that afternoon, I got an email from the HOA, violation notice, improper use of private garage. Attached was a blurry, zoomed-in screenshot of my ATV, accusing me of violating community guidelines by storing an unauthorized vehicle mechanically in my garage. Seriously, I laughed it off at first, thinking the board would trash it. But the next morning, a physical notice was taped to my door, with a $200 fine and a mandatory meeting request. I called the HOA office, got put on hold forever. Then a receptionist named Carol told me the violations were reviewed by the board president. Who else but Karen? My jaw dropped. Suddenly, neighbors who once waved avoided eye contact, whispered when I passed. Karen had spun a story painting me as a thief who tricked a dying man out of his ATV and booby-trapped the garage to trap her like a criminal. Her sob story made her sound like a grieving niece reclaiming an heirloom. Not the woman who broke in with bolt cutters and triggered a fortress-grade security system that I considered posting the footage online but held back. If she was playing the HOA card, I needed to be smart. So I contacted Marcus, an old friend, lawyer, and former tech startup partner specializing in property disputes and defamation. After reviewing everything, the footage, HOA notices, purchase papers, he chuckled. Said it was one of the strangest cases he'd seen, but a slam dunk. He recommended filing a formal complaint to the HOA Oversight Committee, dormant for years thanks to Karen's influence, and suggested documenting everything, prepping for legal action, not just for the break-in, but defamation and abuse of power that I mailed the letter certified. Karen? Not fazed. She doubled the fine, citing a rarely enforced HOA bylaw about visual conformity, claiming my black ATV with red decals clashed with the community's natural color palette and provoked neighbor anxiety that I nearly choked reading that. That same week, I saw Karen's loyalists hosting an emergency HOA meeting in her front yard, folding chairs, older residents sipping lemonade, while Karen waved printouts of my garage footage, barking about community safety. She even printed the Facebook ATV listing, calling it fraudulent, and labeled it stolen valor in vehicle form. I could only imagine how she explained her 2 a.m. garage crawl, but not everyone bought her act. Anonymous notes and texts started trickling in. Neighbors calling her crazy and offering support, some claiming they had receipts proving Karen's lies. Then, the twist that I got a social media message from Tyler, Karen's arranged nephew, the son of the cousin who supposedly promised her the ATV. He said, "Hey man, I saw your footage. That ATV was my dad's. Karen's full of it. Dad sold it himself to keep it away from her. I helped list it. That's your ride, fair and square." He sent screenshots, messages between him and his dad, even notarized estate documents proving the sale was clean. I was floored. With Tyler's permission, I sent everything to Marcus. Marcus grinned. We just hit the jackpot. Karen's web of lies unraveled. Now we had a direct family witness proving she had no CL.